Well, it's an interesting time that Brad, the Chelsea supporter, decided to take off. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League, normally from three friends. This week, from two friends. This is the North London Derby edition, North London edition of Red Card Radio. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight is Sean. He supports Tottenham. Hello, Sean. How are you?
I guess it's good pre-production. Our itinerary that we make up, we have left off a certain competition and a certain club because that way we don't get to talk about it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Because Brad's
I think
not going to shut up about it.
The official Red Card Radio statement is that Chelsea win friendly preseason tournament in America.
That's solid. I like it.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Put it on the shirts.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, that's all we need to say. What's going on this week? So the clubs are back. Most of the clubs are back in preseason training. We have some spicy, I would say, transfer updates, and we're getting ready for teams to jet off all around the world to do their preseason tours. I know that our teams will face off in Southeast Asia somewhere. I don't know which state they'll be in.
You went general. I'm glad you went general. I am fairly certain that it is in Thailand, but I do not know for certain.
I thought it was in Singapore, but I didn't want to like lock
down.
Yeah, all right.
That. So Southeast Asia is correct.
It might be Laos. We don't know. It might be Laos.
I doubt it.
I doubt it as well.
Highly doubt it's Myanmar.
So. Yeah, certainly yes. But before we get there, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell. If you're on the podcast site and you're listening to this, first, congratulations to me for remembering to upload it there. But also, if you could follow, 5-star review, rate review, all those good things really do help us out tremendously. Listening to the end actually is also very tremendously helpful. And if you could hit that share button, send it to your wife, your brother, whoever, and do those things for us. It really does help us out a lot. So, Sean, just by your feeling, if you had to give me your feels so far on the transfer market, who would you say feels like has been the most active club in England in the transfer market so far this summer?
Well, it feels like, I think raw numbers say that Chelsea have signed the most players. Liverpool have definitely made the biggest splashes, or potentially already one, potentially another. And I don't know if we want to bring that up yet, but for the selling club, hopefully sooner rather than later, so they can use the proceeds to remedy that situation.
Well, let's talk about that. So what you're dancing around is apparently today. Mm-hmm. It's July 15th as of recording. This morning, apparently Liverpool reached out to Newcastle Football Club and informed them that they were ready to present a British record bid for Alexander Isak. That's a weird. It's a weird.
They just broke the bid for like 120 for Wirtz, right? Wirtz was 120. That was a British record, I believe. So if they use that terminology, then that would mean it's more than that.
I think that the way they mean that terminology is between British clubs, but even still, this will be a bigger deal than the Wirtz deal. And so I think it's a very funny way that David Ornstein reported that, because Liverpool told Newcastle that they're ready to present them with a bid. Well, just fax them the document. Fax them the contract that says we will pay you 120 million British pounds sterling for Alexander Isak. Why did they have to call them on the phone and say, hey chaps, we're gonna fax you something in the morning if you're willing to accept it. It was a funny way that came across to me.
Just a heat check? What, they're just doing a heat check of like.
I guess
maybe they were anticipating possibly Newcastle just says no, don't bother.
I think that's
and then they just go away.
I think that's my read of the situation, that apparently they're willing to submit the bid if Newcastle's stance of Alexander Isak is not for sale changes. So, like, if they're saying, okay, we're receptive to offers, what do you got for us? Then Liverpool's like, okay, at least we have an option. But if Newcastle are just like, yeah, if you send that to us, we're going to put it in the shred bin. We're not even going to look at it. Then maybe Liverpool at that point say, okay, we know we have to go knock on Sporting's door and get Gyökeres or go get Sesko or go get Ekitike, maybe changes their
Well,
mind.
probably the mental chess that goes into it is probably behind closed doors. They have offered something in negotiations, probably not anything official. Newcastle have turned them down and said no, he's not for sale. So by offering that bit of information up to the fan bases that we are willing to pay an exorbitant amount for Isak, if should they be willing, she'll either strengthen the stance of we are not selling him, or that foundation of that stance will be crumbled by the pressure from Newcastle fan base of them saying, "That's a crap ton of money. Do it."
I mean, maybe. I mean,
So
clearly,
I think that's probably the my game.
I would assume that clearly Liverpool and Isak, or Liverpool and Isak's representatives, have been in contact with one another. They have been discussing wages and fees and things like that. And so, like, obviously, Isak is probably aware of the interest and is probably, he hasn't shut it down personally, right? So, like, that's why Liverpool are like, well, let's go for it. I mean, it would be a tremendous. Could you imagine a world where Liverpool Football Club, buy two players in the same window for more than £100 million each? Like, that's a.
It is shocking.
We got clowned a couple years ago for spending $105 million on Declan Rice. Like, by like all the people that are like, because Arsenal have traditionally been like, oh, we can't spend that much on players. You can't spend that much on one player. There's no way. I mean, heck, didn't Jurgen Klopp famously say that no one player should ever be worth that much because, like, of all of the other things you could do with that money? I think that was a Jurgen Kloppism. I understand we're in a
Yeah.
different time. Like, there's so much more money in football now, especially in English football, but like, that's an incredible like statement of intent by Liverpool. Just their willingness to spend that much money is it's big. Like, yeah,
Well, well, it's just, and I had this argument with, and I'll make this point briefly because it's not about European football, but it pertains
hmm
because now obviously part of the expansion of the money and the dollar figures was exacerbated by Chelsea and Man City,
yes,
obviously, but the exponential growth of the influx of money is such in a way that these numbers, although big in figure, are not big in percentage of what they are earning, or they are in relation to, I don't know, 7 years ago, an $80 million, a $70 million bid is equivalent because of the income now. And I liken that to the where I got to that analogy was Terry McLaurin's situation in the NFL, where when he signed his first contract, it was 25 million, and of the salary cap, that was 12% of the salary cap. Fans are arguing that he's not worth 35. Well, if you take 12% of the salary cap now, it is 35 million. So you're giving him the same contract. So that's basically where my mathematics come down of the share
yeah,
of the pie is more, or is the same. The pie is just bigger.
yeah.
Is my point.
And I think that's a good way of looking at it. It's like proportionate to what the figures were 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're just keeping up with inflation, for kind of a
Yeah.
easy way of saying it. But even still, can you imagine the world that we'll live in I don't know the first time that Liverpool are going to play Man City, but Pep Guardiola will have the audacity to say something absurd like, Liverpool able to buy £200 million players, and they
After they
do
just spent half a billion.
they do so much. We net spend zero, and you're just like, all right, Pep, I'm so done with you and his absurd statements like
They
that.
just they just spent $500 million. in the
Yeah,
last 2 windows.
yeah,
It's unreal.
and a player they signed in January is apparently available in the market this summer.
Was it Kusanov?
Yeah, just absolutely,
Is it
absolutely.
Kusanov? I just guessed because he's not very good.
I forget which player it is exactly, but I remember reading that. Um, and of course I can't remember it. Also, Liverpool news. Apparently, Bayern Munich have bid in the range of £60 million for Luis Diaz. That was turned down. Darwin Nunez to Napoli is off, so I think Liverpool are hoping that Darwin Nunez is willing to go to Saudi Arabia at this point, because I think that seems like his only suitors left. Now, clearly, if Liverpool are able to sell Darwin Nunez for like apparently 100 million is the figure I've heard to Saudi Arabia, which I don't see how that man is worth 100 million pounds, but whatever. Apparently, if he goes for
If they want to buy that, I can get him a player for 70 million for Richarlison and just save a little bit of money over there in
yeah.
Saudi.
I mean, have they ever seen Gabriel Jesus play football? Like that he is the pinnacle of Jogo Bonito. Um, but still, but then so if they offload Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz, that's going to be a tremendous amount of money in their pocket, and so I mean, I don't think Liverpool signed a single player last summer, if I'm not mistaken. So
Uh,
maybe
last summer,
the
no,
goalkeeper, maybe.
but the previous season they did bring in some Balzai and
Sure, Gravenberg, things like that, like
McAllister. Yeah,
McAllister. Yeah,
they spent a good chunk 2 seasons ago, so they're kind of breaking it up a little bit at a
yeah.
time, trying to refresh the.
Now,
Not everybody like Tottenham can refresh the roster in one foul swoop. So
is that what Tottenham did?
yeah, right at 17th, won a trophy.
I mean, I guess it depends. I guess it depends on your goals in life. Speaking of Tottenham, any update on the Morgan Gibbs White situation? Um, is that still in
No,
limbo?
it is a done deal. Forest can kick and scream and throw a tantrum if they want. There is a release clause. It was triggered. This is done. They can
Yeah,
argue all they want. They can throw the lawyers at it. It's it's cut and dry. There's a release clause. It was met. Done.
yeah.
That's it.
It seems really
And the
strange to
player
me.
wants to go. And the
Yeah,
player wants to go. So okay, argue it all you want. Levy's got a team of lawyers waiting.
yeah.
Lizard lawyers.
The scary ones, like Komodo dragon type lizards too. That like bite you and then like 7 days later you
Oh
die
yeah.
and he's just waiting there ready to eat you.
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
Komodo dragon lore for you
No,
guys.
it's
They bite you and then 4 days later
it's
you die and they're there ready to eat you.
yeah, they're no, that's done. Kudos is done. He's already started training, I believe, a day or two ago.
Did you?
Uh,
They released a video of his medical, and the doctor went to listen to his heart, and they said, "Oh, I'm going to listen to your heart." There, and he said, "You'll only hear spurs or something like that." It's the corniest thing
okay.
ever.
Yeah. All right. Send him back. Send him back to West Ham. Get him out of here. We don't need that on the team.
Um,
That's disrupting the locker room.
Arsenal have been quite busy. Yeah, I think you would grant me, you know,
Yeah.
Zubimendi,
Okay.
Norgard, Arrizabalaga are all official at this point. It looks like Victor Gyökeres will happen. It looks like that's a done deal.
What's waiting on?
Well, it's apparently we're squabbling over what's the phrase? Add-ons. Apparently they're squabbling over add-ons. And apparently a deal in principle was made when the agent reduced his fees. Like, so Gyökeres gave up like a 2 million euro bonus at Sporting. The agent gave up like 8 million euros in agent fees that he was due to earn on the sale. And so like that's when Ornstein reported that the deal was agreed in principle and that they were just negotiating over add-ons and performance bonuses and things like that. And so apparently, I heard a report that they were trying to Sporting was trying to include an additional 8 million in add-ons today or something like that. But everyone is still fairly optimistic that it's going to get completed by Friday, is what it seems like. Which seems a little bit late, but whatever. Just get the deal done.
The
Um,
other fairly concrete Tottenham rumor, fairly concrete. I say fairly concrete. There are sniffings around, but it's unclear if they're just messing with United, because Brentford have been clear that they will not lose both Wissa and um,
Impomo.
Mbeumo. They won't lose both, and so with the Mbeumo deal on the rocks, Tottenham have been sniffing around Wissa as a backup / replacement to Son. So there have been talks. It is possible, but it also could be them just screwing with United
That would be
because they can't get
tremendous.
the deal done.
That would be
Yeah,
tremendous.
that would be great if we didn't even sign their player. We just signed another player, so they couldn't sign it because they couldn't get the deal done because they want to finance it for 30 years like a home mortgage.
They do. I don't understand. Like, aren't they squabbling over like £5 million or something like that?
No, I thought the whole time that Brentford have been firm. That United said we would like to pay for this over 5 years, and Brentford said you can pay for it all at once, and they were like, okay, fine, we'll pay for it over 4 years.
Oh,
And Brentford said, no, you can pay for it now,
is it
and
a
that's it.
is it a release
And
clause?
so
I guess it has to be if they want all their money
no,
now.
no, it's they agreed on the fee. Maybe it is a release clause. I don't know, but they agreed on the fee, and United were like, okay, we can pay for that over 5. No, you can't. You could do it all at once. Okay, we'll fine. We'll pay for it over 4. No, so yeah, that's what they're arguing over.
It's like the Barcelona, like the clubs that are dealing with Barcelona are like putting in like mechanisms in the deal that like should Barcelona go bankrupt, that like they're their first creditor or something like that. Like they're putting in protections for dealing with Barcelona and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
not everybody can be the first creditor.
That's true. That's true. That's
If
true.
if everybody's language says that, I'm sure they have legal jargon to get out of it.
If everybody's the first creditor, then no one is a creditor, and they don't owe anyone. And actually, you owe
That's
us.
that's how they'll get out of it.
Barcelona's back, baby. Um, any any other things that we can think about right now? How many? We're about like a month away. Yeah, today, as of recording, we're exactly 1 month away from the Premier League coming back, because I think it starts on the 15th of August. Yeah, that's that
Yeah,
Friday.
we are.
Oh,
We
look
are,
at
yeah.
that,
And I did
man.
see predicted. I need to check injuries. I did see predicted opening day lineups for Tottenham. Wasn't sure if this was because of injury, people coming back late, or um, if it was a desire of the poster. But the backline did not include Romero, did not include Van de Ven. So I was confused by that. Don't know if it's injury. Don't know if it's them just leaving,
How could you
or
possibly
potential
have?
leaving, or predicting a leaving.
I mean, like you could see a world where Romero leaves. Like that's clearly like a thing that could happen. But Van de Ven? I feel like if there was going to be a mass exodus of Ange players at this point at Tottenham, we would have already heard about it. You know what I mean?
It would have, yeah, it would have been
Like
done.
like the players would have come out, and like Fabrizio would have been reporting all over. We would have had 9 tweets in 6 hours about how Romero communicated to Thomas Frank that he wants to leave, and that the relationship is totally broken. You know what I mean? Like we
There
would have.
were there were a lot of there were reports of I think 7 key players that were saying if Ange leaves, then they would like to. I think Frank got in there and talked to everybody, and everybody's calmed down now
Yeah. So
because those reports have dissipated. So
that's good. That's good. Well, it's good for Tottenham.
yeah,
I
it
get.
is to build. Yeah, it's good. We've got a good foundation. I feel like so to keep building, you can't lose your entire foundation.
Yes, that's that is very true. Um, I know that. Arsenal Arsenal are in the buy for depth stage of our rebuild or build up or however you want to look at it, at our assault to try and win the Premier League. We're in the buy competent and competitive backups in every position kind of situation. So I don't know. I think I'm cautiously.
Same. This would be our second so far. This is our second straight with no selling. They're only buying.
Yeah, I know.
Not including January, obviously, but
We're gonna have to do some sales. Like we're gonna have to offload some players. Reece Nelson, who was on loan at Fulham last year, probably doesn't have a long future at Arsenal. I love Reece Nelson. I think he's a great. I mean, I think he's a good player. I'm just a little disappointed it didn't work out at Arsenal, but that happens. I wouldn't mind seeing him go back to Fulham to play with Iwobi and Emile Smith-Rowe. But honestly, I just want to see him go somewhere and play. If that's Everton, if that's, I don't know, Burnley, who cares? Just go somewhere, go to West Ham, go be an important player for somebody somewhere. That'll make me happy. Zinchenko, someone like that who didn't get much playing time last year. If we buy this Mascara kid from Valencia, it seems like, he's going to fall down the pecking order. Kivior might also, not have a whole lot of options. So, yeah, I don't know. I definitely anticipate some outgoings at Arsenal, especially after, after they get the Gyökeres deal done, and if we sign Eze, which I'm pro that. There's also words that Leandro Trossard might be going to Turkey. So that's something to keep an eye on.
shocking.
Well, if Arsenal sign Eze, then I think the thought process is they don't need Eze, Martinelli, Trossard. Even
Just shocking that he would go to Turkey. I think he's good enough to be at a high level French, high level.
Yeah, I think
Serie A, high level League One. So
I think the reason why people go to Turkey is because Turkey. I think the Turkish clubs Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, at least, they pay decently well, and you're still in Europe. You know what I mean? You're still in the Champions League. You're still like. I don't think the Turkish league is. It's clearly below, in my opinion, in terms of stature, below the French league, below Serie A. But I mean, it's bigger than the Greek league. It's bigger than the Polish league. Like, it's probably on par with Portugal. So it's probably like sixth biggest league in Europe, sixth or seventh, something like that. It would be my estimation in terms of the quality. And I watch a lot of Turkish football, so I would know.
That's true.
You heard it here first on Red Card Radio. Anything else you want to get off your chest tonight? Any other gripes, concerns? All right, well, maybe we'll have to see if we can find Brad. I don't know. He might have some things to say about Chelsea the next time he's on the podcast. But I think the next time he's on the podcast, I am not going to be here. So good luck to you.
I'll handle it with grace and class.
I know you will. That's why I'm leaving it in your capable hands. But we will be back next week. I think it's also just us again next week, unless we want to hit up Jimmy or Joel. Okay. We can see who's available. Get some people. We'll make some calls. But that's all we got. We will be back next week. We'll have something. We'll talk. I don't know what we'll talk about. We're gonna figure it out, and we'll let you know then. But until then, hit us up on social media. That guy is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. Really appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you clicking the button. It means a lot to us, and we will be back next week. Hope you all have a great week and enjoy.